Hey guys, Micah from Black Bear Custom Kydex. I've got a video on a couple of multi-tool sheaths for you. So this one here is a Gerber MP600, and this guy is a Leatherman Surge. Real quick breakdown for you on them. This is my standard setup for the MP600. These are going to Austin in Wisconsin, and Austin asked for this one in Cryptek Extreme Hunter Orange. So you can see that Cryptek pattern. He wanted this to be as bright as possible, so I pulled a section of it with as little of the black as I could. So that's why you don't see a ton of it, but you can definitely make out that Cryptek pattern, nice and slick, and obviously the logo on the front. So for those of you who aren't familiar with this, the basic idea of it is I created a sheath upon a customer's request, probably about, I don't know, 10, 11 months ago now, and it can automatically deploy the pliers. So when you start pulling it out, you can see that the pliers stay fixed in their position relative to the sheath, but the handles have extended out. So what you do is you just pull real quick and you get a full deployment of your pliers, and then they're just ready to use, which is pretty cool. And so I had done that sheath, and the second time I got a request for the same thing, the customer asked if I could also make the pliers collapse on their way back in. So I tried that, experimented for a bit, and eventually I figured out how to get that to work. So we've got full deployment on the way out and full collapse on the way in. So this one seems to be fighting me quite a bit. The bite for where it actually connects the tension on that rail system that slides the pliers out, there's like a secondary click going back in. So when you pull it out, just make sure you pull really fast and you should be fine. And then going back in, I would just slam her home. I think that's pretty much the only reliable way to make sure that you don't have those little click hiccups on your way in or out. Especially when you're deploying them. If you don't want to try to deploy them slowly, let me show you what happens. So if you try to deploy slowly, where it actually grips the rail system in here is going to resist coming out of there. So the momentum of pulling it quickly is actually a large part of what helps you to deploy them successfully. Right, just nice and quick. The only trick with this is, so it is totally reversible. It's ambidextrous. It's a strong enough hold you can flip it upside down. So you got a lot of options, and you can also turn this sucker horizontal on your belt if you wanted to. Actually, on that note, this drill hole spacing is a little bit different from what you guys are normally used to seeing on my MP600s, but the customer asked if I could set it up so that it could ride in any of the 90s or at any of the 45s around the belt. So so it's set up to do that. All you have to do, and it actually has ride height options as well. All you have to do is turn that tech lock. Actually, in this case, we have a combat loop. All you have to do to go 45 is match up corner to corner with any of the two drill holes, and you'll be able to figure that out. That's easy. Alright, so the only trick with this guy is when you pull it out, you don't want to compress the handles this way. If you do that, it's harder to pull out and it's not going to deploy the pliers. The reason is because when the rail system gets compressed by the handles coming together, it just puts too much pressure on it to allow for the pliers to slide out. So just grab it by the front of the handles and maybe your thumb across the back like so, and rip her out. Easy enough. Alright, so there we go, MP600. This has been a very, very popular design. A lot of people have been buying this, so it works really well, and it's a nice sleek profile. So alright, as for the Surge, he wanted me to do it in a pancake style, which definitely presents some challenges for mounting it on a tech lock. So here's the issue with it. Basically, you're either going to have it be off center so that you can put the tech lock through a drill hole that's on the side, or you're going to have to do some kind of mold out, which is what I've done here. You can see that the back sticks up just a little bit right there. Right, got that little up and over shape. And that just creates clearance for the hardware that's attaching this tech lock. So you basically just have to choose one or the other, and typically I would go with a symmetrical design and have that standoff. So it does slightly widen the profile, the actual standoff from your belt, by, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch or so, which, you know, for some people that's a deal breaker. But the alternative is having it feel off center, and sometimes when you go to draw your multi-tool out of the holster, it can feel like it's not pulling evenly, so you have to, you know, go at angles, and it's just weird. So I don't really like doing that. It's just easier to do it symmetrically. But in any event, he had bought another holster for his Surge from a different Kydex maker. I won't name names, obviously, but he wasn't happy with it. I personally thought it was actually a pretty good holster when I got it in the mail here. Took a look at it, but he wanted something that had no rattle whatsoever, just good retention, something you could probably carry upside down in a variety of different scenarios, and you wouldn't have to worry about it coming loose. So that is what I've done here, and at the same time, it's not absurdly difficult to draw it or anything. It is reversible. Obviously, you can go either way. The only thing I was telling him is that you find out when you mold something with like a thermoplastic, you know, Kydexing something, that certain tools aren't quite symmetrical. So this is one of them. It looks like a perfectly symmetrical tool, but when you actually get it in there, things don't quite perfectly align. So when you have one way, there's absolutely zero rattle, and the other way there's just a tiny bit, but only if you shake it really hard. So I'm actually not getting the rattle at all right now, so maybe it cooled off even a little more and settled into place. But in any event, this one is also capable of going at all of the 90s or all of the 45s, and like I said, the retention is strong enough that you can definitely invert it and carry it that way. Another thing you might want to know is that the drill hole spacing, see, these first 3 drill holes on each side are spaced so that you can move your belt clip over to those, or you could put molly locks on them, or an ulti clip, or holster speed clips, or anything like that. So they are 3/4 inch spacing. They are compatible with a wide number of belt clips, and especially the Tech Lock. So if you do want to switch over to that, Austin, you have the ability to do it instead of going through the back of the holster. Just be aware that because of this standoff, you're going to need to put a couple rubber spacers on each hole to allow the Tech Lock clearance to go flush across the back of that. So if you do that and you need any help along the way, just let me know. I can tell you what to do. So anyway, I thought it came out looking really nice. I wanted to share these projects with you guys, and that's what I got. So if you guys like these sheaths, if you like this video, hit that like button. If you like this channel, I ask you to subscribe to it, and if you would leave your comments down below, let me know what you think of them, share it with all your buddies, and definitely stick around for the next one. Thanks for tuning in, guys. God bless.